Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're skipping the basic tactics, the fleeting trends, and all the usual noise, and we're getting right down to the absolute foundation, the internal architecture of success. We are breaking down 15 very specific mindset shifts for wealth creation. And look, these aren't just polite suggestions. These are the rigid, non-negotiable rules of reality that completely separate the people who build actual lasting wealth from the people who just stay stuck.
I mean, listen to this. Most people stay broke for one reason. They think like broke people. It really is just that direct. Wealth isn't some crazy accident of birth, and it's definitely not a stroke of pure luck. It's the literal physical manifestation of how you think. So today, we're going to outline the exact mindset shifts that separate the absolute winners from, well, everyone else. We're talking about rewiring the very code of how you operate on a daily basis.
All right, Section 1, the broke mindset trap, fixing the foundation. So before you can build a towering structure, right, you have to fix the foundation. And that means you have to clear out all the bad, buggy programming you've inevitably picked up over the years. To do that, you've got to check the source. You have to ruthlessly, and I mean ruthlessly, audit who you're actually listening to. You absolutely cannot take advice or honestly even entertain the opinions of people who aren't currently winning in life. Think about it. If someone is broke, their operating system for money is fundamentally flawed. If you download their advice, you're going to download their results. I know it sounds harsh, but ignoring broke opinions, that is step 1 to protecting your own potential. Moving on to Section 2, new rules of money, the mechanics of wealth.
Okay, so once you've actually stopped listening to the wrong people, you have to start treating your money way differently than the average person does. And this brings us to the 2X rule. The mindset shift here is profound. See, average people look at spending money as a loss, right? Like it's just something leaving their pocket forever. But the wealthy, they look at it as a strict mechanism for return. The absolute undeniable rule is this. If you spend money, you must have a system in place to make double that amount back. Every single time. Spend it, earn it times 2. You don't just part with your capital, you deploy it on a mission to go out and bring back more. And that deployment leads us perfectly into this crucial comparison. Hustle gets you started, but systems make you rich. Society absolutely glorifies the hustle, doesn't it? The grinding, the sleepless nights. And yeah, for sure, hustle is 100% required at the very beginning. You need that momentum. But the thing is, hustle relies entirely on your physical energy, and your physical energy is limited. Systems, on the other hand, do not sleep. Systems are the true mechanism for scaling up. If you actually want to be rich, you have to build machines that work when you aren't working. Because ultimately, money isn't just about working harder and harder until you drop. Money is a snowball. When you build those systems and you deploy your capital intelligently, you tap into what is literally the ultimate cheat code, compounding. You are just letting the money grow itself over time. Once you make that shift in your brain, from working for your money to letting your money compound, the entire math of your life changes. And to truly maximize that compounding effect, you have to own everything. You shouldn't just be playing the game of business. You need to vertically integrate and control the entire process. Don't just be a single pawn on the board. The wealthiest minds out there, they look at a supply chain or a business model and they say, you know what? I don't just want a cut of this. I want to own the whole machine. All right, Section 3, relentless action and execution, the kinetic energy of success. Let's get into the physical side. So here is the harsh reality check. All those systems, all that compounding, they mean absolutely nothing without the physical execution to actually kickstart them. This is where theory meets the pavement. Volume wins. It really is that simple. Most people out there will try maybe 3 things, fail at them, and then loudly declare to anyone who will listen that the game is totally rigged. But the wealth creation mindset? It looks at that exact same scenario and tries 30 things. You simply have to try vastly more things than the average person to find the one thing that actually works. It's a numbers game, and your output just has to be relentlessly high. And within that massive volume of output, here is exactly where the cash is actually collected. Follow-up equals money. Most people lose out on massive, life-changing opportunities simply because they disappear. They make one attempt, they send a single email, they make one phone call, and then poof, they vanish. Staying visible and executing a relentless follow-up strategy is the ultimate moneymaker because the market and people always reward persistence. And that persistence basically boils down to 2 things. First, be relentless. You never, ever take no as a final answer. You just adjust your approach. A no isn't a stop sign. It's just data telling you to change your angle. Second, you must pivot fast. Adapt or die. If the market shifts or if the rules of the game change overnight, which they do, you have to change faster than everyone else around you. In this game, agility is survival.
Section 4. The currency of network. External forces. So look, you can have the absolute best systems in the world, and you can have the highest volume of execution possible, but you do not exist in a vacuum. Human capital is often vastly more valuable than raw financial capital. You've got to remember this. Contacts equal currency. Your network will genuinely make you more money over your lifetime than any traditional job ever could. People are simply greater than money. Who you know, who trusts you, and who is actually willing to answer your call when you need them, that dictates the scale of the opportunities you get to play with. Now, the most interesting tactic for building that massive network is simply understanding that energy matters. It really isn't about cold, calculated, awkward networking events. It's about being the kind of person others genuinely like being around. Giving genuine compliments every single day, that literally builds doors for you where there were just walls. At the end of the day, people want to do business with people who bring good energy into their lives. Which brings us to Section 5, internal fortitude and fear, the internal battle. This is the big one. You've got the systems, you've got the execution, you've got the network, but none of it, and I mean none of it, holds together if you cannot conquer your own psychology. This internal battle is the final boss. You have to establish this rule in your mind right now. Growth equals discomfort. You have to get deeply, intimately comfortable being totally uncomfortable. If a new venture, a crazy new pitch, or a big investment feels scary or awkward, that is exactly where you need to go. Comfort is the absolute enemy of wealth. So the crucial defining point here is that fear isn't a red light telling you to stop. It is a giant green light. Fear is a signal that you are getting close to something really big. The average person feels fear and immediately retreats back to safety, back to what they know. The wealth-building mindset feels that exact same fear and steps aggressively right toward it, knowing for a fact that the massive reward is hidden right behind that very emotion. Now, what about doubt? The negative thoughts. Look, they're going to come, they always do, even to the most ridiculously successful people on the planet. But your directive is simple. Let it pass. The ultimate form of mind control isn't somehow magically preventing negative thoughts from popping up. It's simply refusing to let them stay in your head. Acknowledge the thought, sure, and then let it float right on by. Just do not pull out a chair and give it a seat at your mental table. And while you're fighting all those internal battles, never forget this absolute necessity. Joy equals performance. If you are stressed out all the time, just gritting your teeth and white-knuckling it through every single day, you are doing it wrong. Maintaining a sense of fun and joy is literally mandatory for long-term winning. If it isn't fun on some level, you will inevitably burn out, and you will lose the game. And that brings us right to our core thesis for today. This isn't motivation. This is how I think. And thinking like this changes your life. You see, motivation is fleeting, right? It comes and goes with your mood or what you had for breakfast. But these 15 shifts we've covered today, they are a rigid operating system for reality. It is a permanent, fixed lens through which you can view money, effort, people, and fear. So I want to end this explainer with a very direct challenge to you. Look at yourself and ask, are you building something real? Evaluate your own actions today. Are you still running that old, broken operating system, or are you ready to actually install these mindset shifts and truly build? If you're ready to construct something real, to execute with massive volume, and to step back and let compounding do its magic, then you know what to do next. Because understanding this information, that's just the starting line. The real work starts right now.